Good morning around Australia. Welcome to the Adelaide Oval. This is the Mercantile Mutual Cup game between South Australia and Tasmania. Very important game in the early stages of this competition. We had an absolute blinder at North Sydney Oval last weekend when New South Wales just got up to defeat Queensland. Here today, the Tasmanians have come across to take on South Australia. That's the South Australian side with Darren Lehman and Paul Nobes listed to go in first. Then Greg Blewett, fresh from his West Indian triumphs. Jamie Siddons, the skipper, and Darren Weber. Then Tim Nielsen. South Australia have won the toss here and decided to bat. Tim May is in. Daniel Marsh is 12th man. First ball of the match, and bowler is Ridgway, taking strike, knee to open. Ricky Ponting at number 3. And David Boon, skipper. Sean Young, who was with the Australian A side in England just recently. Tucker and Jamie Cox at 6. That's a strong batting line. Michael De Venuto and Nicholas Courtney to open. Ricky Ponting at number 3. And David Boon, skipper. Sean Young, who was with the Australian A side in England just recently. Tucker and Jamie Cox at 6. That's a strong batting lineup. And first runs on the board for South Australia. The Adelaide Oval, as usual, looks an absolute picture. Good running there from Lehman to come back from the third on the throw. The ball was already on its way. 3 on the board for South Australia. And a very good morning to Greg Chappell.
Good morning, Richie, and good morning to all our viewers, wherever you may be. And that's a very bright start there to Darren Lehman and the South Australian side. Lehman, a very good striker of the ball. Just went for timing there, placed it well. He's used to having to run a few here at the Adelaide Oval when you play straight. Long boundaries here at the Adelaide Oval. And Paul Nobes, his opening partner. Very unique batting style, but he's been very successful over a long period of time for South Australia and Victoria. To loosen up the hamstrings early in the morning.
Nice stroke by Nobes. He's very strong off his pads. As Greg Chappell pointed out a little earlier, he's an unorthodox player, but has been extremely effective and very, very dangerous for opposition bowling attacks. Sean Young is the bowler from the city end here.
Very good-looking team on paper. Nobes playing away from his body, as he has a tendency to do. Early in the innings, he's a real chance with the ball. It leaves him. This one basically straight, but just a bit of movement at the end.
Oh, bad. What a wonderful catch. He was going the wrong way, suddenly managed to push off and dive away to his left. For all the world, it looked as though it wasn't going to carry to him. That was absolutely brilliant.
Ricky Ponting, the fielder, one of the most exciting young cricketers in the country, not only for his batting. That is brilliant. I don't think anyone, not least of all Paul Nobes, thought he was in real trouble there. The ball went in the air, but it was well wide of the fieldsman. What a brilliant piece of fielding. Paul Nobes is out for 3. South Australia 1 for 10.
Greg Blewett is the new batsman. Still have memories of the West Indies tour where Australia regained the Frank Worrell Trophy. This is a different type match here today. Domestic limited overs fixture. Chance to get through to the semi-finals and the final later on in the Mercantile Mutual Cup competition. Sean Young has achieved the first breakthrough for Tasmania by way of that absolutely brilliant catch by Ricky Ponting. Not only was it taken well, but you had to be a wonderful athlete to get there.
Ponting is a wonderful athlete, on the move, responds to the ball in the air, throws himself to the left hand, comes up with the catch. Don't think he was surprised. He watched the ball all the way. If we can have another look at that. to see him. He saw the ball all the way.
1 for 13, South Australia, after they won the toss and decided. About 3 overs have gone. 2 of those from Mark Ridgway and 1 from Sean Young, who has the wicket, that of Paul Nobes. Brilliantly caught by Ricky Ponting at square leg. Lewitt is not off the mark, but it's Lehman taking strike now to Sean Young. He's given that something away through extra cover. Very talented player, Darren Lehman. Hasn't quite impressed enough to become a fixture in any of the teams above Sheffield Shield level. He's been in areas of international limited overs games, but he's a very, very good player.
Very powerful drive. Can't afford to overpitch or even be
Great racing fixtures in the world. Safely away through the area between point and very, very deep gully. Yes, the Caulfield Cup preview will be at lunch. There'll be live races 3 and 4, and the Caulfield Cup will be live. Tremendous interest in that race, and also in the Melbourne Cup coming up, but the Caulfield Cup on today, and that will be at approximately 3:30 Eastern Time. We'll also is in magnificent condition. Real credit to curator Les Burdett. We're only into October, and looks as though it's the outfield is fast. The ground looks as though it could be December or January in some of the other states. Pitch square has been used once or twice. There's another pitch being prepared there. The whole ground is a picture. No doubt about that one. Very, very thick edge. And the second wicket down for South Australia. Lehman goes. Good wicket-keeper Atkinson. Bowled Ridgway. 22 runs on the board.
Fairly loose shot here by Darren Lehman. He's decided to hit the ball hard. It was wide. He gave himself a bit of room. Got a lot of bat on it, but not much deflection. Mark Atkinson, very good glove man behind the stumps, had no trouble taking that. So Lehman is also on his way to join his opening partner, Nobes. South Australia now 2 for 22.
Jamie Siddons is the new batsman, the skipper of the South Australian side.
South Australia need a partnership here between these two. Neither of them has scored yet. Mark Ridgway picking up the second wicket, that of Darren Lehman. Big slash outside the off stump. It's the way Lehman plays, but he looked as though he'd predicted where the ball was going to be, and he was going to be going after it before the ball was bowled. Paid the ultimate price, 13 runs.
It's in the air, but safe, and stopped very, very quickly.
So it's the early part of the season. The South Australians just coming to grips with the bounce and pace of the Adelaide Oval wicket at the moment. Siddons again doesn't mind going in the air, and I think it was intentional that he went over the top there. He didn't quite get the meat of the bat on the ball, and consequently it didn't race away to the boundary. They've run 3.
2 for 25. Siddons is 3. Blue is not yet off the mark. Siddons has strike.
There'll be a lot of running here today. The outfield a little bit slow. Quite a large boundary anytime you go straight or just to the onside or offside. Just as we have a look at the last ball of the last over. Red blue at the batsman facing. A little bit of bounce there. You can see it's got up around waist height. He went forward. Ball nearly snuck through, hit the back pad, which stopped it coming back and possibly hitting the stumps.
Clamped everything down and eventually won by 11 runs. .29 on the board, but 2 wickets down for South Australia.
Jamie Siddons at the crease now. They need to spend the next 20 overs or so building a partnership, which will help build a foundation to aim for a score around that 230 mark. Bowled him. It's another very important wicket there for Mark Ridgway. Short, the ball bouncing. Greg Blewett, a good player of the short ball, into position quickly, but got the bottom edge of the bat straight down onto the stumps.
I had a feeling when I saw him play the stroke, it must have come off a little slowly. But no, it has jagged back off that bottom edge. So no doubting Greg Blewett's disappointment and Mark Ridgway's jubilation, and the whole side gathered there now in conference at 3 for 29. Right-hander, and if ever South Australia have needed him to play a blinder, it's here today.
South Australians away to a fairly ordinary start this morning. Paul Nobes, the first batsman out, brilliantly caught by Ricky Ponting at square leg. Ball bounces a little bit on him and Ponting throws himself to the left, and that is a brilliant catch. A very excited Ricky Ponting. Darren Lehman, the next to go, slashing outside the off stump against the bowling of Mark Ridgway. Mark Atkinson takes the catch, a fairly straightforward one it was. And then the disappointment for Greg Blewett. Trying to hook the short ball, got a bottom edge on it, straight onto the top of the off stump. All wickets have been a blow, but that's the big blow for South Australia. Jamie Siddons, the captain, is at the crease. Darren Weber is with him. A partnership now. They can't afford now to lose any more wickets. They start to get down into the all-rounder department from here. We look again at Greg Blewett. A good player of the short ball, but it surprises him here. Gets up a bit quickly. He got bat on it. Unfortunately, he got a bit more wood on it as well because it went straight to the top of off stump. That's a good shot.
Well, it's Siddons who will have to show the way out there. Not only as captain, but also the outstanding batsman of those left. Sean Young has just got that up into the half-volley area. Splendid stroke.
Jamie Siddons now will perhaps have to review what sort of...
Caught Paul Nobes at square leg. It's well struck. Siddons coming on the front foot, gets it through cover position. The outfield's quite slow. Happy with 3. Two very strong sides in the Mercantile Mutual Cup. Tasmania with depth of batting, South Australia there. Got,
able to get sides out twice and force outright victories.
Nicely off the mark through mid-on, Ridgway over pitches. Up his 12th delivery, but it's a nice shot from Darren Weber, a confidence builder. Picks up 3.
Yes, the Tasmanian attack probably better suited to this style of cricket. They've got the 2 medium pacers you see now operating, Sean Young and Mark Ridgway, then Colin Miller, who is able to swing the ball a little bit, Rodney Tucker with his medium pacers. So they're probably better suited to this style of cricket as far as bowling is concerned. But
out, gone, beautifully bowled. Sean Young got the outswinger going. That's well taken by Atkinson. That's a beautiful piece of bowling, and Siddons departs, and South Australia in a lot of trouble at the Adelaide Oval.
that's why he's always a dangerous bowler, Sean Young. Just gets a little bit of a way swing. He's at that pace where the batsmen really fancy their chances of driving him. But if he gets it in the right spot, that's what can happen. He can hit the edge, and well backed up there by keeper Mark Atkinson. South Australia have lost their 4th wicket with the total at 41.
New batsman. Wicket-keeper batsman, a very capable middle-order batsman as well, Nielsen. He'll need to bat well today because Tasmania is well on top. Superb bowling, good fielding. They're applying the pressure, and this is a wonderful catch. Beautiful piece of bowling, a little bit of outswing, and well caught by Mark Atkinson. The end of Siddons.
Yes, the ball flew quickly, and Atkinson, good pair of hands there. good example of the bounce that's in this pitch. That ball really flying off the edge of Siddon's bat, carrying well and truly through to the keeper. The Tasmanians have used the conditions particularly well. That ball just short of a length. Wasn't quite the half volley that Siddon's, I think, expected. It's midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight. Up an easy 2 for that push down the ground. Gets Tim Nielsen off the mark. At Rugby League semi-final, the World Cup semi-final, coming from Huddersfield.
It's well played. Weber very strong off his pads. This is recognised as one of the best batting wickets in the world. There's Burdett, the curator. He's produced a belter here today. A little bit of grass early on. So allowing the ball to bounce, but it's not seeming much. It's fairly straight, but nice, even mat of grass, as is normally the case here in Adelaide.
Yes, I think the most encouraging thing from a batting point of view, when you walk out to bat it, you'll start to worry.
In the air, but safe. That'll go away for 4. Slow delivery from Sean Young, but Weber went after it, got plenty of bat on it. Brings up to 50 for South Australia.
It's well played there by Weber. He picked the slower ball, and just by using his hands, he guided that ball away past point. Good use of the wrists there, getting that one away for 4. It's when you see a pitch where the mower has picked a bit off the top and missed a little bit in the valley, you know that the bounce is going to be uneven. See that's now coming true.
That's well driven, but you'll get a run from Ricochet. In fact, you'll get 2. 6 runs off the over. It's 4 for 56.
Blewett started off struggling a little bit over there and then came good towards the end, but he does know there'll be a lot of competition. He's a very talented young cricketer.
With Australia A.
Oh, that was a lovely stroke. I think on the replay we'll see that he actually played a bit at the pitch of the ball, but he hit right through it. Good cricketer, Darren Weber. Wonderful striker of the ball.
Yes, he belted the daylights out of Queensland in the Shield final, albeit in the second innings when Queensland had the match well and truly won. But, gee, he got 91 up there and played scintillating innings. Unfortunately, that's the way South Australia tend to play. They did exactly the same in the Shield final. They lost early wickets by playing some rather rash shots. You're expected to get on with it in one-day cricket. That's what Darren Lehman was looking to do. And that thickish edge travelling quite safely through to Mark Atkinson. This.
Another example of good positive stroke play from Darren Weber. Just give the ball a bit of a thump.
As that was intentionally lofted by Weber, picking it up on the rise and hitting straight down the ground. It's a very good timer of the ball. Absolutely raced to 50 in that Shield final. There were boundaries flying everywhere. In fact, yes, he's one of the more talkative keepers on the field. Mark Atkinson does a lot of talking, encouraging his players, which is good to a point. I think it can be overdone.
It'll be a fun afternoon. Couple of runs here to finish the over. It means there'll be 3 runs from the over. South Australia 4 for 84. Here today, and the Tasmanians would have encountered in Perth last weekend. If we look at recent scores in limited over cricket here at the Adelaide Oval, a score of around 210 will still be very competitive.
South Australians also are brilliant in the field, led by Jamie Siddons, arguably one of the best fieldsmen in the country. Nielsen on camera, be sharp behind the stumps with the gloves. He's a good all-round cricketer.
27 overs have been completed here at the Adelaide Oval. South Australia 4 for 91. Nielsen on 20. Weber 31, the senior member of the partnership, which has just brought up their 50. And Michael Farrell, the right arm off-spin bowler, will slowly but surely the South Australians bring up their 100. 4 for 100 in the 29th over. 7 after 30 overs, 4 for 102. Colin Miller. There's a chance of a mix-up here. He's gone for the wrong end. There's an appeal. The umpire's given him out. Could have gone either end there, and there would have been a run out. That was probably the more difficult end to throw to, but it's still been successful, and South Australia loses the 5th wicket.
And the dangerous Darren Weber goes. Bit of indecision here. Ball was pushed down. He's looking for one. He stops. Weber stops himself. Here's the throw. And well and truly out. So that's a disappointing end to what was a very good innings, and Tasmania all of a sudden right on top of the loss of that wicket. 5 for 102.
Joe Scuderi, the boy from Ingham in North Queensland. He's been down here in South Australia for the bulk of his first-class career. Came down to the Cricket Academy. He's an all-rounder, useful medium-fast bowler, right-hand batsman, hard-hitting right-hander. They'll need some of his batting here today. He's off the mark straight away.
It's a disappointing end for Darren Weber, who I thought batted very sensibly and looked in complete control, wasn't bothered by the extra bounce. The run out was a sad end. Good piece of fielding. They've been on the ball in the field, Tasmania. Nice, neat pick up and throw. You can see he's well out. Bat in the air. Good decision by the umpire. Didn't call for the replay.
Single again, straight down the ground, the field back. Di Venuto was the fielder in the run out, fielding at mid-wicket, so it was a good piece of fielding from him. Just the underarm throw straight through to the keeper.
I don't think Darren Weber ground the bat either. Conked it over the line in the end. A lot of hesitation there from both batsmen. Got it down just before the line, but too late.
Stretching out as much as he could, then getting the bat down at that stage. He knew he was in trouble. It's an outside edge, and there's another wicket. Joe Scuderi has gone for 1, and you would think so goes South Australia's hopes.
Colin Miller's line's been excellent. He just gave that a bit extra. There just seemed to be a bit of movement off the seam. Didn't seem to be a big edge. It's a wicket that South Australia didn't want to lose. Very good delivery. Pitched and moved away. Atkinson does the rest. Tasmania well on top here at the Adelaide Oval. Scuderi out. 6 for 104.
Veteran Tim May comes out to the crease for South Australia.
That's the centre one.
Been around for a long time. He's played 20 of these matches. One-day limited oval over games for South Australia. Played quite a few Sheffield Shield games and a number of international games. As we look at Joe Scuderi getting the outside edge to a ball that really cut back at him from the pitch. Colin Miller, the bowler, and he has bowled well. He deserved the wicket. You can tell by Joe Scuderi's head that he knew what had happened. Tim May, the forward defensive shot, well recognised as one of Tim May's signature shots. He gets well forward and well over the top of the ball. So Scuderi caught Atkinson, bowled Miller for 1. That run out really perhaps been the last chance for South Australia.
And the fielding's been pretty good so far for Tasmania. Not so good on that occasion, as you can tell from the look on Nick Farrell's face.
All boundaries here at the Adelaide Oval. They seem longer when you've perpetrated something like that. Sometimes the ball will spin on the second bounce. Need to be aware of that. And that did get away from him a little bit towards his left-hand side. Just threw him off balance a bit.
In good form. It's going to fall safely. De Silva getting man of the match in the final, and Mahanama was man of the series. So good victory there to Sri Lanka. And then they bowled the West Indies by 1 run. Tim May back for the second. Bob Massey taking 16 for 137 at Lord's. I say Tim May, talking of spinners, looks pretty fit. He looks to me as though he may have lost a little bit of weight. Looking quite fit, Tim May.
Australia will need May.
Were intimidation. That's a lovely shot. Good batsman, Tim May. A lovely stance at the crease. Times the ball quite sweetly. Yes, the main considerations for the umpire, if their suggestions are accepted, would be intimidation and the batsman being in physical danger. Well, intimidation should really only apply to and it's close, and a good long look. The umpire has turned down the appeal. It's 6 for 130. Nick Farrell might have asked him why it was given not out. That's a lovely shot from Tim May. I think it was going there anyhow, no ball or not.
Ridgway had a lot of trouble with his feet placement early on. There's no doubt about that one. His heel was on the line rather than part of it being behind the line. And there's an extra ball to be bowled and 4 runs from the stroke.
Out, straight to mid-on. Good change of pace from the off-spinner. That's the wicket that Tasmania needed. Nielsen out for a well-made 40, but a good piece of off-spin bowling.
Yes, he held the ball back. Nick Farrell, the off-spinner, just gave it a little bit of air. Saw Nielsen coming. The ball just gently floating into Di Venuto's hands at mid-wicket. So Farrell takes his first wicket at the personal cost of 24. South Australia in a lot more trouble now. 7 for 140.
Brad Wigney, the new batsman for South Australia. Career age of 15, a strike rate of 56. It's good bowling by the off-spinner Michael Farrell there. He saw Tim Nielsen coming down the pitch, just changed the angle and held it back a bit. See the ball got short of it, straight to Di Venuto at the wideish mid-on position, out for 40. 5 overs left. This is the 40th over. And Tasmania have held sway for 40 overs, really. They've bowled very well. They've been very good in the field. Good scorecard for the Tasmanians after Siddons won the toss and elected to bat. I do feel, Greg, though, that it won't be an easy target. There's enough in this pitch for a good bowling side.
Yes, Bill, I agree. There's a plenty of...
No, he hasn't got his overcoat on either. Mr. Walker, that goes 2 walks. He's doing a good job for the young children and fans here at the Adelaide Oval. That's a nice educated edge by Wigney. He'll pick up 3. South Australia need a bit of luck in these final overs. Tasmania, they've been very competitive for quite a few years now in both 4-day and 1-day matches. They look to be a very good, disciplined side. Their fielding's been excellent. Their bowling's been not brilliant, but nice and tidy there. Ridgway gets a genuine edge. It races away for 3. But they've bowled to one side of the wicket all day, which is a sign of a disciplined attack. David Boon in charge. Chance for run out. The throw's good if he gone. Out! As for the replay, it's going to be very close. Whitney made some ground, but it looked out to me. A direct hit was needed. The wheel's falling off for South Australia if that's a judged run out.
A difficult one here. The South Australians need to get runs. Whitney started to go, then stopped and had a look at Tim May and then decided to go. Mark Atkinson brilliantly off the mark there. Pick up and throw. It's a direct hit and that could be the end. Good night, Brad Whitney.
Tough one for the third umpire. It's very, very close. If there's any doubt, it must go to the batsman. As he crossed the line, he must cross the line. On the line, I'd say. He may get the benefit of the doubt here. Good test for the third umpire. Ashley Hunter, the umpire. There he goes, having another look. Umpire Hunter must get the benefit of the doubt, I would say, if I was an umpire. It's very, very close. Need to be on the full, really. The bails are off. What's your decision? Greg Chappell says out. I say not out, and so does the umpire. Good, fair decision, that. Wasn't clear that he was out. The batsman must get any benefit.
Absolutely, and I think that's a good decision. Certainly Brad Whitney will agree with that. He would have been a worried man there for a while. He knew he had the long strides going and the big reach working for him on that occasion. But if there is any benefit, it must always go to the batsman.
They need, one feels, to be competitive. In the air and safe. He'll pick up 2 runs. Good effort.
Was a good effort there by Nick Courtney, I think it is, at mid-on. Brad Whitney trying to go over the top. He didn't quite get the contact he was looking for. There, the ball lands quite safely. Going again, there's another chance for a run out. Umpire Ms. Rebick this time quite confident of his own ability to call that one safe. Quick shake of the head, a bit of a smile as he has a chat to Mark Atkinson.
Had to be a direct hit. So it was okay. It was well taken again, but he was well home. Direct hit or not. Good running. They've been very good in the field, Tasmania. 6-4 so far in innings. Small boundary square of the wicket. Gone! Good piece of work. He's sharp, Atkinson. He's very sharp. It was like greased lightning there. They were off in a flash. Good reward for Farrell. He's bowled very well indeed.
He has bowled well, and Mark Atkinson behind the stumps stays in beautiful position, just stays down there, waits for the ball to come into his gloves. Nice soft hands, very quick hands as well. Off with the bail. Timmy May falls to his counterpart in the Tasmanian side, the off spinner. South Australia continuing the struggle, 8 for 153.
Batsman, the fast bowler for South Australia. Credentials aren't all that great as a batsman. He's got a job to do here. 8 for 153, a 44th over. 2 wickets to Mike Farrell with his off spinners. There's a stumping. Neat piece of work by Mark Atkinson. Having a very good day. The gloves.
Mark Atkinson moved down to Tasmania from New South Wales a couple of seasons ago. Very well respected amongst his peers. And there you can see why.
Well bowled. Lost him onto the back foot.
He's a big man, Paul Wilson.
Up at 3:30. Live on Wild World of Sports. They pick up 1, they may look for 2, and they get it.
Ricky Ponting, the fielder, coming in off the boundary. Low whip throw and a little bit risky with the ball. If that ball hit the stumps, he may have been in some trouble.
Yeah, and it will be out. Well, caught brilliantly, made it look easy. Very good effort. Wigney trying to hit down the ground, got it high on the blade, and it's all happening for Tasmania, and they're making it happen. They're bowling very good line. Wigney straight on again. He tried to hit it straight down the ground. And Hills, the substitute fieldsman, takes a good catch. 9 for 155. Mark Harrity, the new batsman, although he's played for South Australia and the Sheffield Shield side, on debut here in the Mercantile Mutual Cup. Fast left arm bowler, but bats right-handed. Very promising cricketer, this young man. Should be quite lively this afternoon when South Australia take the new ball. That's the scorecard, 9 for 155. And Wigney well caught. He tried to hit down the ground.
Wigney getting it high on the blade of the bat. Mark Ridgway again getting just desserts. That's a very good catch. Hills, the fieldsman, coming across from mid-off. Ball not particularly well struck. You'll see it hit fairly high on the bat. A bit too much elevation into it. Radar. His radar was working well there. Hills taking the catch.
3 wickets for Ridgway, who's bowled very well indeed. His best figures in... Oh, almost 4. Gets past the wicketkeeper, racing down towards the long boundary. It should go all the way. 4 valuable runs. That's the end for Mark Ridgway. 3 for 47 off 10. It's 9 for 159.
Tasmania, Bill, a very honest performance. I think they've worked hard on this man, most particularly. It's been a very good effort. Could have easily had his 4th wicket there. It was a genuine nick. Very frustrating for him, taking 4 runs from his last delivery in his spell of 10 overs. So Ridgway finished with 3 for 47.
Yep. Bottom edge down to 3rd man. They should pick up 2. Valuable runs these for South Australia. 175. Good attack. 1 or 2 early wickets. They put pressure on Tasmania. Young still around about off stump, just a fraction wide, a bottom edge. Races away for 2.
Quite well ordered as a batsman.
Gone for it. Could be out. Missed it. Bonus runs. Good effort though. They're attacking the ball. Tasmania. It wasn't an easy chance by any means. In fact, it wasn't a chance in the end. It fell short. Well struck by Wilson down the ground.
Paul Wilson, the big man, going for the big hit. Swing of the bat. Didn't quite get the contact he was looking for. The outfielder's made a valiant attempt there. He didn't get a hand on it in the end. 3 runs there. Dean Hills, the fielder, at a couple of club boundaries would do them the world of good.
He's got it high and wide. 1 bounce over the fence, just right of the Mercantile Mutual sign, with $130,000 today. A nice bonus for a big, fast bowler to pick up 130 grand, batting at the final overs.
He's done a good job, Paul Wilson. He looks like he knows what he's doing with the bat in his hand. He's tried to hit it reasonably straight. It threw the ball and worked it away to the leg side boundary. 1 bounce into the member stand.
Should be out this time. Hills coming in, takes the catch. That's the end for South Australia. Bowled out for 176 in the 49th over. A very good performance by Tasmania. They've fielded brilliantly. They've bowled a very good line and length, and they contained the very strong batting order of South Australia. Not very often they bowled out for 176 in the 49th over.
It's been a very good fielding performance. Started off with a brilliant catch by Ricky Ponting, finished up with a fairly straightforward catch. Dean Hills, the substitute fielder out at long on, just had to stand his ground and accept a fairly straightforward catch. Paul Wilson's on his way. That finishes the South Australian innings. It's been a very good bowling performance, an excellent fielding performance by the Tasmanians, and they've put themselves into a position where they should win the game.
Yes, it all started because they bowled a very good line and length. Mark Ridgway started it by bowling with a bit of fire early on. Picked up the early wickets of Lehman and Nobes, the experienced campaigners, and then it's been a procession really for the South Australian batsmen. They struggled hard for 176 all out. There's enough in this wicket to suggest that if South Australia bowl well...
From the bowling of Young to get rid of Paul Nobes was the real cruncher for the Tasmanians. That put the South Australians on the back foot. The quick wickets then of Lehman and Blewett really set the scene, and South Australia never really recovered. They did well in the end. 176 at least gives them something to bowl at. The Tasmanians, as Bill said, bowled very well. Every one of them bowled with discipline. Ridgway, I think, was the pick of the Tasmanian bowlers. He's a big, strong action. Hit the deck hard, bowled around off stump, got a little bit of movement, but he was well backed up by Sean Young, Colin Miller, Rod Tucker, and Mick Farrell finished up with 2 wickets for 29 with his off-spin.
Hands here, Simon. Nice choice there by Kenny Callender and yourself. But here in the Mercantile Mutual Cup game, it's 177 to win for the Tasmanians. They've already had one setback, a run out of Michael Di Venuto, a brilliant throw from Greg Blewett out at backward point. They need another 169 from 46.5 overs. 3.6 is the asking rate, and they have 9 wickets in hand. This is Brad Wigney bowling. Mike Harity, the fast left armour, a young player of promise, has been bowling at the city end. And that is the wicket to fall. Di Venuto, run out by Blewett, and there it is.
Blewett moving quickly to his left hand, a direct hit here. Michael Di Venuto not even in the frame. He's on his way back, so that was an important breakthrough for start by the South Australians here. They'll need another couple of quick wickets. Courtney facing, Ricky Ponting the other batsman. That's slashed away for 4. Not much width given there, but just enough with the bounce that's in this pitch. The batsmen are able to make room for themselves. It wasn't a particularly bad ball, but a very good shot by Nick Courtney.
Quite a bit of ability, Nick Courtney. He's been a bit up and down in the Tasmanian side, but strokes like that just underline the fact that he's quite a good player. Just a little bit of extra width there from Wigney. Like.
Whoever's been talking to him's done a good job, because he's got a nice balanced run up. Looks very good at the crease. And from all reports, he's got quite a bit of pace as well.
Stories I heard indicate got a wide stance.
Pretty good spell of bowling here by Brad Wigney. He's got Rick Ponting unsettled. Just beating him for pace there, and a little bit of bounce again. Pace most batsmen can adjust to fairly easily. It's the extra bit of bounce that takes a little bit of getting used to, and particularly early in the season. Bounce is what's going to get good players out, and Ponting. Harity brings the lofted shot from Ponting. Meant to be a square drive from the back foot. Went a long way in the air. Greg Blewett, I think, the fielder at point. Just out of his reach. It's into the boundary for 4. The ball went a long way in the air, and not a great deal of control in that shot, as you can see there, with Ponting's right hand coming off the bat. This one's in the air, so it's a good piece of bowling going on here. Unfortunately for the bowler Harity, Greg Blewett on this occasion getting beaten by the bounce. A bit frustrating for the bowler, because he'd like to keep the right-hander on strike, or the same batsman on strike. That won the angle getting across Ponting. I think the angle also beat Greg Blewett. Is quite satisfactory at the moment. There's a swing and a miss, and a little bit of frustration creeping in, and a few suggestions on how it might have been played.
And with what sort of implement, I should think? pretty well, Mark Harity. He was noted last year.
Helps the bowlers, but also good for the batsmen. Tim May, the fieldsman at mid-on. Still perhaps not the quickest in the field. 8 runs from that over. A few little scares, 1 for 26.
That's a good shot. Wasn't all that much astray in line, but Ponting picked it up very, very quickly. It wasn't a wild hit away to the onside. He more or less hit through it with a fairly straight bat and then just rolled his wrists.
That's a legitimate shot and a very good one, and that's why Ponting's one of the exciting young players around at the moment. This is the sort of talent that he has. It wasn't a bad ball by any means. But he's dispatched it to the boundary with... And if you bowl it short there, you'll get into a lot of trouble as well. All of a sudden, the shackles being broken, partly through some good batting. On this occasion, just a slightly shorter delivery.
That's one of the important batting order positions I was talking about, that Ricky Ponting should bat at number 3 for Tasmania. And for South Australia, Greg Blewett at number 3. If he's not going to open, then number 3 is where he should certainly go in. And he would do just as good a job as opener as anyone else who's available.
Thank you, Greg Chappell. Yes, Wilson right arm over the wicket. Courtney gets away square, a nice square drive. Just went on the medium pace, and it goes for 4. That's superbly timed. So all of a sudden, Tasmania getting some runs very quickly to break the shackles. Harity and Whitney were tidy early on, but all of a sudden, 3 boundaries in the last 2 overs has lifted the run rate and taken just a little bit of pressure off Courtney. Finds a gap again as Wilson over pitches onto the leg stump. Good afternoon, Ian Chappell.
Afternoon, Bill. Tim May chasing there from mid-on. He's had some knee problems in his career. Looked like then he was just...
Chart beautifully played off the back foot. Ponting finding a gap at backward point. It goes all the way for 4. His 4th boundary. Just a touch of class about this young man. He's prepared to take the bowling on. He'll give you a chance early on, but he'll pay the penalty if you drop short.
Yes, that's one of his great abilities, Ricky Ponting. If you bowl a loose ball, he'll put it away, not making contact and taking the ball on the thigh.
Gets it this time. Gets it away well. It's right of the Mercantile Mutual sign, $130,000. 9 off the over. It's 1 for 51. Looking for the square of the wicket boundaries. It's the last delivery.
That brought up the 50 for Tasmania. They're 1 for 51. South Australia had lost 4 wickets in getting to 41. Plenty of boundaries so far for Tasmania. 3 to Nicholas Courtney, 1 to Michael Di Venuto.
It's a bottom edge, goes down past the slip cordon. 2 more to Ponting.
Ricky Ponting's a very good player of the horizontal bat shots. If there is to be any criticism of his play in that area, he just looks to me every now and again as though he tries to hit them a bit too hard. He's such a good timer of the ball, and he really doesn't need to belt those shots too hard. And I guess that every batsman can get a bit carried away in playing those shots.
Well bowled. Wilson gets through the defence. Doesn't get an edge. It's 1 for 53.
At the moment, hit 2.
It's gone straight down to the throat of slip, playing away from his body. Wigney gets the breakthrough that South Australia needed. Courtney be disappointed with that stroke. It was way away. Straightforward catch through to Weber at slip.
Yes, that's how you like them to come at first slip. Once again, the bounce is the thing. Plenty of bounce, and once they hit the edge, they're going to carry, which is always good when you're fielding in the slips. You know it's going to carry. Well taken there by Darren Weber. Tasmania 2 for 53.
Because Tasmania have lost their second wicket. Courtney well caught at slip.
A little bit of bounce there for Brad Wigney, and just enough movement off the seam to catch the edge of the bat. And the edge flying very nicely straight into the hands of Darren Weber, who's a very competent first slip fieldsman. Much needed breakthrough for South Australia.
2 for 53. Ponting not out 22. South Australia still in it.
No call is needed. It's just a meeting of the eyes.
Beautiful shot. The back foot perfectly played. Wasn't a bad delivery. Just a fraction short. That's a class shot.
Yes, that is a beautiful shot. Good use of the hands here by Ponting. Just opens the blade slightly to get it away to that short boundary. He realises that third man, Mark Harrity, is fine. So he wants the ball fairly square. Beautiful use of the hands. You have done it and get that run rate up early to around 4.
Well, beats him. Boon was late and crossed the line. Really struggling for touch there, David Boon. Nowhere near it.
Looked to be a pretty good delivery from Brad Wigney. Just a little bit of movement off the seam. David Boon, almost as though he didn't pick that one up. He was not in the same county.
Time in the middle to start striking the ball in the middle. 2 runs there with Tim May looking a little restricted in the field. 2 runs from the over. Tasmania 2 for 63. Carnival from Melbourne. That'll be live at 3:35 Eastern Standard Time. Ponting gets it away through the leg side. Quite strong from his legs. I'll get through for 2. Not going to get back for a third. Starts off with a pair. And Ricky Ponting with a signature shot, that one for him. Doesn't mind the pull shot, just a little bit short from Paul Wilson. Ricky Ponting very quickly into position. 6 runs from the over, 2 for 71.
De Venuto for 6. 56 from 75 balls. And there's a few more.
Boon comfortably coming back for 4 there. That was beautifully hit. Takes Ponting into the 60s. He looks in pretty good touch. Had quite a reasonable tour of England with the Australian A side. Averaged around about 46 in the first-class matches. Said that he, in this morning's
Breakthrough. Because both these batsmen are starting now to play their strokes, run with confidence between the wickets, and in general terms look very confident. They've started to get their partnership together, and if Boon moves along from the slightly tentative character he was in the first.
Booney with a grin there. He knows it wasn't far from the sign. I think he had. I think his eyes had lit up when he saw the short one. Might have thought to himself, gee, I could use 130 grand.
Pretty good. Just a little bit of miscue. He'll know that the spin on the ball is going to take it away from the sign. You need to hit it a bit to the right.
No! Bonus today. Nothing happens today. Yes, he's definitely got that sign lined up, Booney. Well, I guess he's worked most of his life in a bank. Knows the value of 130 grand. Nothing happens today.
Form, trying to get forward as often as he can, particularly to the medium pace of Greg Blewett.
Beautifully placed. Split the man at mid-on and mid-wicket. Dawson the fields when he's giving his best, but he's quite slow. They'll be happy with 3. They may even come back for 4 if David Boon responds. Happy with the 3. 5 off the over. 2 for 144. Always good to know the position you're in if rain does come down. In fact, they're just, Max Krieger, our scorer, tells us they're right on target, so maybe just told by the coach to just nudge it up a bit, just in case it does rain.
It's nearly dark enough to rain there.
It's gone straight down the ground. That's a big hit from Dave Boon. If that's a 6, that's a long one. It falls in well short. It's a big hit, hitting with the breeze. Be close, hits the stumps here. Just makes it. That's good running by Ponting. 4 all run. We had to stretch out in the end. Boon going with the breeze straight down to long on.
David Boon taking his mate Tim May on this time. Got it a bit low on the face of the bat, and that's the reason it didn't travel very far in the air and plugged on landing. 4 Boon 45 have taken it along.
Beautifully struck. The man from third man, Harrity, will get it. They pick up 2.
This has been probably a match-winning partnership between Ponting and Boon. They came together with the score at 53. It's now 155. Ponting made a statement in the paper here this weekend that he wanted to do more. Very good batsman.
That's a beautiful shot. Glorious placement. Man, mid-wicket and mid-on, quite close together. He's found the gap once again. Beautifully timed and placed.
Ponting feeling the effects of running a lot of 3s and 4s. I think he was keen to run 4. David Boon